Now, JDS leader and Karnataka MLA H.D. Ravanna, the son of former Prime Minister H.D. Devegaura, had in fact been rushed to hospital after he complained of uneasiness. Remember, H.D. Ravanna has been arrested by an SIT in Karnataka over the Karnataka sex crimes case. He was taken to the hospital earlier this evening, and the doctors checked him and sent him back with officials of the SIT after a few hours. As I mentioned, H.D. Ravanna is currently in the custody of the SIT for allegedly in 3 cases. The specific arrest, though, was in the kidnapping a woman, but he's also booked in a couple of other cases linked to rape and sexual harassment. Let me go across to my colleague Pratibha for more on this. Pratibha, what's the latest in terms of this health scare of H.D. Ravanna?
Well, in fact, right since evening, he had been complaining of uneasiness, is what we hear. And soon after which he was taken to Victoria Hospital a little after dusk. Victoria Hospital is a state-run hospital in Bengaluru. The doctors were checking his stats as well as his vitals. For at least about an hour or so, he was given some specific treatment. Remember, he's also 66 years old. And in the presence of the SIT, the doctors were working on his health. Mr. Ravanna is currently in the custody of the SIT. And remember, tomorrow is also a big day for Mr. Ravanna. One, the SIT that was holding custody of H.D. Ravanna was granted to the SIT until May 8th. And tomorrow is May 8th. It's also the day where the bail hearing of Mr. Ravanna would also be listed at the court, the Sessions Court in Bengaluru. So all eyes are on the outcome of that as well, whether he would be sent to judicial custody, whether he'd be granted bail, or whether the SIT would get an extended custody. These are some of the questions that are still doing the rounds in the air. But in the meantime, the investigation is on in terms of the FIR that has been registered against Mr. Ravanna. The victim there, with respect to the kidnap case that we are talking about, would also play a crucial role in terms of tightening the noose around H.D. Ravanna. So the several angles that are being explored in terms of the investigation, but all eyes are on the tomorrow.
Right, Pratibha there, thank you so much for joining us with that. Now, will the Prajwal Ravanna case impact the BJP-JDS alliance or in any way affect the Karnataka elections? In fact, former CM of Karnataka, Jagdish Shettar, currently with the BJP, spoke exclusively to my colleague Maria Shakil. Listen in.
Prajwal Ravanna sex scandal. Would you accept that that's causing major embarrassment for the BJP in particular and also for the entire campaign that you have had so far? One question that is looming large on you.
It has no impact on the voters in North Karnataka because all this incident, everything recorded and come into public after first phase election in Karnataka. So, even I have seen the public opinion and other things, everybody thinking it is a personal it is incident and it has no impact on the other party, 14 party parliamentary election constituency. It has no impact at all.
Shettar, would this not likely have an impact on the overall elections, because this is a scandal which is not just limited to the JDS and BJP or to the JDS and its potential impact in Karnataka?
No. Neha Iremad case, murder case, and other 4 members murdered in Gaza. It shows law and order is collapsed in the Karnataka. It has impact every year because everybody wants to personal safety in Karnataka, but it is not did by the state Congress government. So there is apprehension that law and order is collapsed and there is no fear for the murderers. Here, this Prajwal Ravanna case is entirely different. It is a personal. What is behind SIT probe is going on. Let us see what has happened. And now, from yesterday, there was an involvement of the D.K. Shivakumar DCM. His name is also appearing. So it is made by the D.K. Shivakumar like that. Prima facie case already started. So there is a dose among all these cases because of the involvement of the DCM.
Staying with political news, and after the FIR against Akash Anand in Sitapur, Mayawati has removed her nephew from the position of national coordinator and her successor in the BSP. In fact, while announcing the decision, Mayawati said that he's been removed over his political immaturity. Remember, Akash Anand is BSP chief Mayawati's nephew, who had been elevated recently. And the BJP has also reacted on Mayawati's decision, saying that she is running BSP like a private company.
मायावती बहुजन समाज पार्टी को एक प्राइवेट लिमिटेड कंपनी की तरह चलाती हैं और इसीलिए जब जेल में आता है जैसे निर्णय करना चाहती हैं वैसा निर्णय कर लेती हैं, क्योंकि वहां तो एको अहम द्वितीयो नास्ति। मायावती जी जैसा चाहे वैसा निर्णय कर सकती हैं। आकाश आनंद जिस तरह से गैर जिम्मेदाराना बयान दे रहे थे और भारतीय जनता पार्टी को लेकर के जिस तरह की अपमानजनक टिप्पणी उन्होंने की थी, जनता के बीच में उनका बहुत आक्रोश इसको लेकर के पनपा था और मायावती जी ने इस बात को महसूस किया, इसलिए आकाश आनंद को तमाम जिम्मेदारियों से मुक्त करने का काम किया है। लेकिन मायावती जी जो बहुजन समाज पार्टी एक मिशन के रूप में माना करती थी, जो बाद में कमीशन में तब्दील हो गया है, क्या इसमें कोई बदलाव कर पाएंगी?
This is a very shocking development, but this was somehow expected also, because after an FIR was filed in Sitapur against Akash Anand for his inflammatory speech, for violating the model code of conduct, a lot of, according to the party sources, as we know, a lot of his programs were cancelled. The top brass of the party was not very happy with the inflammatory speeches that were being given. Remember his Nagina speech, his very first speech as he entered Uttar Pradesh went viral, and after that, of course, his speech in Chandauli and then his Sitapur speech, all of them were quite aggressive, and then an FIR was filed against him. Now this development comes days after the FIR was filed against him in the Sitapur, while campaigning in Sitapur. Now Akash Anand, the political successor of the BSP, whom Mayawati named just after the state elections got over in December, has now been removed from the post of national coordinator of the party and also as her political successor. Now this is a very big development, because we all know that Akash Anand was announced as the political successor in December. Now he has been removed.
Right, and today was, of course, the third phase of elections, which was held on the road to 2024, voting over in key states, which were part of the third phase. 93 seats, polling was completed. Now, this means altogether 283 seats voting has been done. There are several states in which voting has been completed now: Karnataka, Rajasthan, as well as in Tamil Nadu and Kerala. Now, among the other seats, several seats which went into polls on third phase, Maharashtra as well saw 11 seats going to vote. My colleague Maria Shakil spoke to former Maharashtra Chief Minister Prithviraj Chavan on alliance challenges of the MVA.
The elections are halfway through in Maharashtra. Of course, 24 seats today in all, and 24 more to go in the next two phases. But sir, I want to understand from you, is there an understanding right now, because you would be getting a lot of feedback from the ground, that Prakash Ambedkar's Vanchit Bahujan Aghadi should have been part of the Mahavikas Aghadi, because they were not asking for too many seats either?
No, not this time. So you're absolutely right. Last time, the Vanchit Bahujan Aghadi, formed by Prakash Ambedkar, Babasaheb Ambedkar's grandson, he had an alliance with MIM in Maharashtra. So together with MIM, the Vanchit Bahujan Aghadi polled 7% of the popular vote in 2019 Lok Sabha election. But they caused a damage of at least 7 seats. That means 7 seats were lost by the UP alliance, and 7 seats were won by BJP. Now this time, there is no alliance between MIM and Vanchit. So already the 7% vote share is probably 3% is with Prakash Ambedkar and maybe 4% with BR, whatever, 3.5%, 4%. But the Samvidhan Bachao, Save the Constitution, is such a clarion call that all the Ambedkarites, people who belong to Ambedkar's community, they realize that Prakash Ambedkar's party is out there to split the opposition vote. The entire raison d'etre of the India Alliance was not to let the opposition votes get split. But Prakash Ambedkar is, as we call it in the B team of the BJP, is attempting to split the votes. Is attempting to divert votes from the India alliance, so that although BJP has been getting only 30% votes in 14, 37% in 19 because of Balakot, but their base strength, the core strength is only 30%. But
Right.
with 70% votes in the opposition or 60% votes in the opposition against Mr. Modi, how is Mr. Modi winning? He's only winning because of the division of opposition votes. And that's what India Alliance has attempted to avoid. But Vanchit Bahujana Aghadi that you asked about will not make any difference this election.
Right.
News from the top court now. The Supreme Court has stayed the order of the Calcutta High Court, which directed the termination of nearly 25,000 teaching and non-teaching staff appointed through a 2016 state-level test in Bengal. Now, the Apex Court has said that this has given a green signal in a way to the CBI to continue investigating more on this alleged scam. But the Supreme Court added at the same time that there cannot be any coercive action taken against the candidates, in this case, the teachers. Now, the latest flashpoint on quota between Prime Minister Modi and Lalu Prasad Yadav. While speaking to the media, the RJD chief said that Muslims should get benefit of quota. Shortly after, Prime Minister Modi hit back, calling it a shocking statement and petty vote bank politics. Lalu Yadav then clarified, saying that he does not think quota should be religion-based.
प्रधानमंत्री जब आते हैं तो ये कहते हैं कि लालू जी कांग्रेस आएंगे साथ में तो वो लोग धर्म के आधार पर आरक्षण देंगे और सबका जमीन ले लेंगे, संपत्ति ले लेंगे।
आरक्षण के पक्षधर है ना, वो तो संविधान को खत्म करना चाहते हैं, लोकतंत्र को खत्म करना चाहते हैं। ये इस बात को जनता के जहन में सारी बात आ गई है, इस तरह की बात बदल
कह रहे हैं कि मुसलमानों को आप लोग आरक्षण दे रहे हैं, ओबीसी का लेकर मुसलमानों को दे रहे हैं।
रिजर्वेशन तो मिलना चाहिए मुसलमानों को पूरा।
इंडी गठबंधन के एक बहुत बड़े चेहरे ने इस खतरनाक साजिश से नकाब उठा लिया है। ये इंडी अलायंस के सबसे बड़े पार्टनर बिहार में अभी जेल से बाहर आए हैं। चारा घोटाले में जिन्हें अदालत ने दोषी करार दिया, उन्होंने आज मीडिया के सामने साफ साफ कहा है कि इंडी गठबंधन की सरकार आई तो देश में मुसलमानों को आरक्षण देंगे, और सिर्फ आरक्षण देंगे इतना ही नहीं, बल्कि पूरा का पूरा आरक्षण देंगे।
मंडल कमीशन मैंने लागू किया था। अब आरक्षण सामाजिक आधार होता है, धर्म आधार नहीं होता है। अटल बिहारी वाजपेयी जी ने संविधान समीक्षा आयोग बना दिया था, और ये लोग यही चाहते हैं ये लोग कि ये जो थर्ड फेज का जो चुनाव हो रहा है, पूरा खुजली इनको खुजला रहा दे इनका, और हम थर्ड फेज में हम काफ़ी हमारे पक्ष में रिपोर्ट आ रहा है हमारे गठबंधन का, हम जीतेंगे।
400 पार वाला बात लोग का हमेशा
400 पार का बात मतलब ये साइकोलॉजिकल एक असर देने के लिए लोगों के दिमाग में कि अरे यही जीतेगा। कहाँ से जीतेगा ये?
We'll head into a short break at this point. Don't go anywhere. Welcome back. Now, taking a firm stand on the issue of misleading advertisements, the Supreme Court has said that celebrities and social media influencers are equally liable if the commercial for the product or service featuring them is found to be deceptive. During its hearing in the Patanjali Ayurved misleading advertisements case, in which it also pulled up the Indian Medical Association earlier in the day, the court said that broadcasters will also have to file a self-declaration form before carrying any advertisements, stating that the commercials comply with relevant rules. Shifting focus now, and the CBI has busted a major trafficking network which is linked to luring youth to Russia and forcing them to fight the war. In fact, the CBI has said, issuing a statement, that the network was spread across several states and they targeted gullible youth and took them to Russia and then trained them on combat roles and forced them to fight the war. Let me go across to my colleague Mukesh for more on this. Mukesh, क्या जानकारी है इस particular trafficking ring के बारे में जिसको CBI ने ये गैंग बस्ट किया है?
देखिए, कुल 4 लोग अरेस्ट हुए हैं। इसमें 2 लोग आज त्रिवेंद्रम से अरेस्ट हुए हैं, जिसमें एक का नाम अरुण है और दूसरा का नाम येसुदास है। जबकि जो 2 लोग हैं वो 24 अप्रैल को गिरफ्तार किए गए थे, जिसमें एक निजिल जॉबी वेंसन है और दूसरा माइकल एंथोनी है। ये कुल 4 लोग अरेस्ट हुए इस पूरे मामले में और सीबीआई के मुताबिक अभी इस मामले में जो कार्रवाई वो चल रही है और इनमें सबका अलग अलग रोल था। जो माइकल एंथोनी है वो दुबई में जो एक आरोपी था इस केस का, उस आरोपी की हेल्प कर रहा था और चेन्नई से जो छात्र थे उनके एयरलाइंस के टिकट और उनका वीजा का काम जो है वो करवा रहा था। जबकि जो दूसरा आरोपी है वो केरल और तमिलनाडु से छात्रों की भर्ती कर रहा था और फिर इनको रूस की सेना में भर्ती के नाम पर ये लोग रसिया ले आते थे और वहां पर जाकर जो यूक्रेन और रसिया का वॉर जोन है वहां पर इनको धकेल देते थे। तो कुल 4 अरेस्टिंग हुई इस पूरे मामले में और सीबीआई ने 6 मार्च को इसको लेकर केस दर्ज किया था और उसके बाद कई जगहों पर करीब 7 शहरों में मल्टीपल लोकेशन पर रेड्स की थी। और ये जो केस है ये 19 जो इसमें लोग हैं, कंपनीज हैं, उनके खिलाफ दर्ज हुआ था, जिसमें कई वीजा कंसल्टेंसी फर्म भी शामिल हैं।
जी मुकेश, शुक्रिया हमसे जुड़ने के लिए। Now, India has once again hit out at Canada after Khalistani floats were seen in a Canadian city. And India has in fact said that countries which respect the rule of law should not allow intimidation by radical elements. Now, in a statement, the MEA has said, and I quote, "Celebration and glorification of violence should not be a part of any civilized society. Democratic countries which respect the rule of law should not allow intimidation by radical elements," unquote. Now, India has called upon the government of Canada to stop providing criminal and secessionist elements a safe haven. This is India's second rebuke to Canada in a week.
Shared in that Nagar Kirtan or they carried in that procession was of Indian diplomats as well as of very top leadership of the country, and they were shown in a very derogatory way. And perhaps this is what the MEA has or the External Affairs Ministry has taken objection to, and as you rightly pointed out, this is the second time in the recent a couple of weeks that the Canadian government has been called out for giving a space to the extremist ideology there, and how these extremists there in Canada have been targeting Indian government officials or trying to spread hatred against them. So this is exactly what the MEA has objected to, and they have also called out the Canadian government because very recently the Canadian Prime Minister Mr. Justin Trudeau was seen sharing a stage with Khalistani elements in one of the another events called the Khalsa Day, where people from Canada were raising those slogans in his presence. Even then the Canadian Deputy High Commissioner was summoned here by the MEA, and objections were registered by the Indian government, and similar statement has been issued today regarding the event which was held day before yesterday in Canada.
Now, in Hyderabad, the family of former Prime Minister P.V. Narasimha Rao met Prime Minister Modi, expressing gratitude for Narasimha Rao being conferred the Bharat Ratna. The former Prime Minister's family also discussed a wide range of issues, including those related to culture, India's development and more. And with that, it's a wrap from my side. Keep watching NDTV.